Today was my boyfriend Lucian's 18th birthday. I bought some tiramisu and red wine, heading to his apartment to surprise him. I hadn't told him in advance this was my little secret. Today was special for me too. After 6 months of secretly dating Lucian, he had decided to announce our relationship on his Instagram tonight. We were no longer secret lovers. Just thinking about it made my heart race. I used the spare key Lucian had given me to unlock his apartment door. As I stepped inside, I imagined how I'd bounce over to him like a rabbit and wish him a happy birthday. He'd be thrilled to see me, especially since I'd dressed up for the occasion. I wore a new black lace bra underneath a tight crop top and denim shorts. I'd even put on makeup red lipstick and dark brown eyeshadow and borrowed my roommate Evelyn's perfume to complete the look. I wanted to be irresistible, but as I walked, I felt a little awkward. My usual style was casual, and I'd never dressed this provocatively before. Still, for Lucian, I was willing to try. I was ready to spend the night with him, and a good was what he deserved. Lucian lived alone in a small apartment. The entrance led to the kitchen and bathroom, and further in was the living area with a bed covered in light blue sheets I'd bought and laid out myself. He told me he loved the color. As I approached, I noticed his bedroom door was open. I heard voices. He was talking to someone. I took a deep breath, plastering on my brightest smile. But when I stepped inside, my smile vanished. Lucian's back was to me. His muscular frame, wild and powerful, was something I'd always admired. But now, on the blue sheets I loved so much, there was someone else. A woman was beneath him. Her full breasts were swaying. "Oh, Vivian, you're amazing." "You feel so good," Lucian groaned, his voice thick with pleasure. "But Vivian? That cheer captain. Baby, you too." "Oh." "Faster, can you?" "Show me your strength," Vivian gasped, clinging to him with a satisfied grin. What the hell was I seeing? My boyfriend was slept with another woman on his birthday. Vivian turned and saw me. She didn't panic. Instead, she licked her lips, smirked, and pulled Lucian down for a passionate kiss. Anger and sorrow crashed over me. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. They were drenched in sweat, but I felt an icy chill. My heart pounded in my chest as I stood frozen. "Darling, do you have a guest?" Vivian purred after Lucian's final thrust. Lucian, still catching his breath, followed her gaze and finally noticed me standing there. "Seraph." He pulled out. Lucian laughed, lying back on the bed as if this were some comedy show. "Seraph, what are you doing here? Why didn't you tell me you were coming?" "It's your birthday," I managed to say, swallowing hard. It took every ounce of strength to speak. "Oh, Lucian, is this your girlfriend?" Interesting taste," Vivian said, brushing her hair and reaching for her makeup. "I didn't think you'd go for this type. I thought you liked Anna, you know, the one with the great ass." I was stunned by her audacity. She even critiqued Lucian. "Your boyfriend's got a great body, but his skills? Not quite up to par with my past lover." "Vivian." Lucian looked embarrassed, but he turned to me, desperate to explain. "Seraph, wait. Vivian knew it was my birthday, and do you remember my last game? She came over to celebrate." "Celebrate? In bed?" "Lucian, screw your pathetic excuses. Go to hell, both of you." I grabbed the cake and hurled it directly at them. "Seraph." Lucian dodged, shouting. Vivian screamed, jumping off the bed. As she was still naked, she had to use the sheets to shield herself. I smashed the cake, throwing chunks at them, then grabbed the wine bottle, breaking its neck and splashing the liquid everywhere. "You're insane." "Stop." They scrambled to avoid my attacks as I grabbed clothes, hangers, lamps, anything I could find, and hurled them. Even Lucian's trophies and medals weren't spared. Vivian shrieked in total awkwardness and rage. Anger consumed me, drowning out all rational thought. My muscles tensed, and I was consumed by the need to destroy everything in front of me. How could he do this to me? How could he? All men loved Vivian. I thought Lucian was different. I thought he was. After demolishing the apartment, I turned and left. My carefully planned surprise was ruined. I'd imagined a perfect night with Lucian eating cake, drinking wine, making love, and basking in everyone's envy. But reality had punched me in the face, shattering my illusions. I stormed onto the street, unsure where to go, just desperate to get away from that apartment. My mind replayed the scene of Lucian and Vivian over and over. I ran, trying to outpace those images. I nearly got hit by a car. "Are you blind?" the driver yelled. I fell to the ground, my foot throbbing, my purse spilling its contents. It was a disaster. I sat there, tears streaming down my face. I'd taken the day off work, even though my boss was already annoyed with how often I skipped for Lucian. Now I knew I couldn't go back. I felt ridiculous. I shouldn't have dreamed of finding true love or happiness. When I finally calmed down, I found myself in a corner of the dive bar. I reapplied my makeup, slapped on some temporary tattoos, and transformed into a bad girl. This was the bar where I worked part-time. I sat at the counter, downing several shots of vodka. The burning liquid flowed down my throat, numbing my nerves. I wasn't a drinker, but tonight, only alcohol could bring me a fleeting sense of relief. Nearby, laughter and chatter filled the air, but it felt like a different world. "Hey, Serafina, you sure you don't want to join them? The Eagles Club is celebrating their win," Jack, the bartender, said with a wink. Jack and I were close. He'd helped me a lot when I first started working here, though he was 20 years older. I considered him a friend. I shook my head. No. The Eagles Club was a fighting club filled with handsome, muscular men. They were the most popular guys in town, but they had nothing to do with me. I hated crowded, noisy places. I only ever went if dragged along. Jack chuckled and poured me another drink. After finishing it, I stumbled to the restroom, my head spinning. As I pushed open the door, I nearly collided with a man walking out. He was strikingly handsome, thick black hair, deep brown eyes, and an aura that was both cold and gentle. He stood around 6'3", his black t-shirt unable to hide his muscular build. His biceps were broader than my shoulders. He looked like Chris Evans, gorgeous and commanding. His gaze locked onto me, and I felt my stomach tighten. I realized who he was: Kael Emberwood, captain of the Eagles Club and an undefeated boxer. Since joining the club, he'd maintained a perfect win record. At 20, he was a local celebrity, adored by every girl in town including Vivian. Rumor had it they'd slept together, and he was her favorite. Suddenly, the memory of Vivian and Lucian flashed in my mind. Looking at Kael now, my heart raced again, and my blood boiled. Wrong restroom. Kael raised an eyebrow, his tone teasing. He was the town's star and a notorious womanizer. He had always been seen in bars and known for his conquests. Surely, he wouldn't reject me, I guessed. I was actually pretty confident in myself, and I was pretty sure I would not be any worse than that Vivian. "You're so handsome," I murmured, licking my lips as I leaned closer to Kael, my hand sliding over his chest. Through the thin fabric of his shirt, I could feel the firm muscles beneath and the radiating heat. Kael's body temperature was higher than anyone else's I'd ever touched. He must have been pretty excited tonight, too. After all, this celebration was all for him. Not long ago, Kael had defeated the top fighter from the neighboring town in a boxing match. The club had gone wild, and now they were all at the bar celebrating. When Kael noticed me approaching, he didn't step back. Instead, his eyes locked onto mine, gleaming with interest like a wolf's. Encouraged by those eyes, I let my hand wander lower, tracing the hard lines of his abdomen. It felt like I was running my fingers over a solid wall. God, his body was the kind that could make a woman tremble with desire. He grabbed my hand and guided it lower, straight to his crotch. I felt something hard and throbbing beneath the fabric. In an instant, it seemed to grow even larger, rigid and eager, straining against his pants. The sheer size of it was astonishing. His breathing grew heavier, his deep brown eyes fixed on me, dark and intense, a mix of coldness and barely restrained excitement. "If you keep this up, I won't be able to control myself," he said. "I don't care," I replied, emboldened by the alcohol. For some reason, just touching Kael's body had already set me on fire. My panties were soaked. The idea of having sex in the bathroom, with people coming in and out, hearing their voices, it was thrilling. Just thinking about it made my body tingle with excitement. How exhilarating, right? Kael stared at me for a moment, then pulled me into his arms. "Let's go to my place," he said. And so, in a haze of alcohol and desire, I found myself in Kael's apartment. When he stripped off his shirt, revealing his sculpted body, I suddenly felt a pang of nervousness. I was a good student, the kind of girl people called a bookworm or a nerd. In the 6 months I'd been with Lucian, we'd only slept together once. Had he left me because I wasn't adventurous enough in bed? The alcohol made me forget all about it. But now, faced with what was about to happen. Please download Novels Ago and search the code in the upper left corner to continue reading.